Welcome, everyone, to the PCI Practical Matters podcast. Today, we're resuming 10 myths of government contracting. This is myth number 6, and that's Tim Sullivan. Take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Fritz. Yeah, myth number 6. And that myth is we don't have to market to federal agencies like we do in the commercial sector because the feds have a regulated process. Well, that is a myth. In the online world we live in, someone might actually believe that the only thing necessary to chase a government contract is to log on to your computer. And that would be a big mistake. Many a veteran will tell you that by the time an opportunity appears on sam.gov, it's too late to have a realistic chance for award if that's the first time you saw it. It may not be impossible, but it's going to be an uphill battle. It is true that a great deal of business can be conducted today by sitting at your computer or working on your cell phone. But it's also true that online communications alone are inadequate without a personal relationship beneath them. Regardless of all the rules and the regulations that are in play in the context of a federal procurement, personal relationships matter in government contracting as much as they do in the commercial world. And you can't build a relationship, a meaningful, productive relationship, online. That is why it's important to employ men and women who know how to build these relationships or to employ organizations that can provide this essential ingredient. Since 911, the security employed in federal buildings and on federal installations has increased to the point where the ability to simply walk in off the street has disappeared. You must have an appointment, or you must already know someone who you can call who will come down to escort you into the facility. Meanwhile, the incumbent contractor, if there is one, has daily access to the customer's decision makers. This access can often bloom into lasting friendships, mutual feelings of trust, socializing, and believe it or not, carpools. And relationships are built in those ways. Over time, this means something. In addition, the government contracting world is infamous for its so-called revolving doors. That is, people who go from a government agency to a contractor and vice versa. There are a plethora of laws and regulations to combat the coziness and the advantages gained through the revolving door process. But there are a lot of doors, and they have been revolving a long time. Experienced contractors know that they are working in a fishbowl where everyone, including all their competitors, where everyone else is watching them. As a result, they're careful to make sure that those laws and regulations governing conflicts are not violated. As a general rule, the more attractive a potential candidate is because of their position in the government, the more likely they are going to be saddled with strict, very strict conflict of interest restraints, including a period of time in which they are prohibited from dealing with their former agency or on anything in which they were involved. Now, most of these cooling off periods for former government employees are limited in their duration to a maximum of 2 years. But it is usually just a matter of time before someone can take advantage of the persons they met while working in the government or for a contractor. Now, when I say take advantage, I don't mean to suggest anything improper. For example, merely knowing that a colonel or a senior civilian official in a particular agency will take your call because of your relationship puts you in a very good position vis-a-vis your competitors. And just think how valuable it might be to know that decision maker's personal cell phone number. In FAR Part 15201, Exchanges with Industry Before Receipt of Proposal, we have a list of the many ways that government agencies can engage in a dialogue with contractors. The list includes industry or small business conferences, draft RFPs, requests for information, and pre-solicitation conferences, among other things. You can bet that your competitors are engaging in all of those things So simply attending those meetings or responding to something the government has sent out may not be enough to separate you from the pack. That is why you would do well to focus on one-on-one meetings, which are also on the list in 15.201. If you get a one-on-one meeting, you want to make the most of it in terms of making the best impression possible on your audience. In order to secure this kind of a one-on-one meeting, it helps to have a pre-existing relationship. If you are new to government contracting, or simply too small to employ the type of marketing agency that I'm suggesting you need, there are experienced firms out there that will provide this help for you on a commission basis. The men and women who work at these firms usually have significant government experience on their resumes, and they have established relationships that can and will inure to your benefit. They also know the ropes of government contracting and may be able to provide you with agency insights, with useful historical information, and perhaps most important, they can help you prepare a competitive proposal. It might make sense for you to be a smart consumer. Talk to several of these agencies to find out how they operate and what they have to offer, and then retain the one that you think is the best fit for you and your company. Now, nothing guarantees a contract award, but taking this approach increases your chance of succeeding. In a nutshell, the government contractor has to be very aggressive when it comes to marketing, just as aggressive, every bit as aggressive as a commercial concern when it comes to marketing. But they have to be aware of the very different environment in which government contracting operates. There are strict regulations governing the entertainment of government employees, for example, and many of the major contractors have adopted similar restrictive policies. To succeed, the wise government contractor learns these rules and works within them. Staying on top of what is published on SAM is one thing. It's something that smart contractors do, of course, but it is by no means the only thing.